stay on the offense here.
Yeah.
Turning into our second segment here at Rutgers at the Voice of College Football. Let's talk about those running backs, Gabe, because we've got three talented backs. We've got a transfer coming in from the Florida Atlantic Owls. I'm not sure why they're called the Owls, but hey. C.J. Campbell had a great year for the Florida Atlantic. And then, of course, we've got two returning backs, Antwan Raymond and Jashawn Benjamin. So what's your overall thoughts? I've got some statistics to compare them by. What's your overall thoughts on these players?
So they're all talented. None of them are set apart from the other just yet. You mentioned last week that Antwan Raymond, you had him at number 2 for sleeper. And I do agree with that analysis because, I mean, he had 457 yards on 100 carries, 8 touchdowns as a freshman. He led all Big Ten true freshmen in rushing yards. And, you know, he shined as a backup to what I will call NFL-ready Kyle Monangai.
Okay.
I'm going to say it every week until it happens, Adam.
Okay. Well, I have a tremendous amount of respect for Kyle Monangai, and I hope he does make it in the NFL. And I have a tremendous amount of respect for him for a couple reasons, not just his performance on the field, but he's the reason why I'm very high on Antwan Raymond, because Raymond learned behind Kyle Monangai. And like he said, in his freshman year, 100 carries, 457 yards, and 8 touchdowns.
Yes.
With a 4.6 yards per carry average. And there's 3 games that stick out to me. 2 of them that were late in the season. One of them, which was the last game. Kansas State, 18 carries for 113 yards, 3 touchdowns, 6.3 yards per average, and a long run of 65 yards. And then against Michigan State, 9 rushes, 71 yards, 7.9 average with 2 touchdowns and a long of 24. And earlier in the season against Akron, he had 17 rushes for 77 yards and a 4 yards per carry average with 1 touchdown and a long of 16. This guy has shown he can play, and I'm high on him. So, what do you think about that?
I want to first say shout out to Exploring with Ben and Sam in the chat.
Yes,
I'm not sure
of course.
If I'm talking to Ben or Sam or both. And also, I'm curious about the duck emojis, but
Exploring with Ben and Sam, they are at the Oregon Voice of College Football channel. Excellent channel.
Welcome.
Lots of great information and a very entertaining channel. They're going to be coming to Piscataway next year. I look forward to welcoming them and introducing them to Italian food in the great state of New Jersey.
And when Adam says that we're going to beat Oregon, just know I don't exactly agree with that.
That's why you're wearing a green shirt.
It's just the only clean shirt I have. But
that's
fair. Back to Antwan Raymond. So here's my thing, right? We mentioned how he looked Monangai-esque against Kansas State in the Rate Bowl. He's going to start, and it's going to be for multiple seasons, but he's a sophomore this upcoming year. Is he going to be, starting for 3 years with us, or is he going to be starting for 2? OurLads.com, which does depth charts for every team, they actually have C.J. Campbell as our starting running back and Antwan Raymond as second in command. Samuel Brown, not the first, second, third, or fourth, but the 5th as our third in command, and Jashawn Benjamin as 4th. Now, Jashawn Benjamin is a very, very, very good 4th option if he's actually going to be a 4th option, which is crazy to think about. I mean, we'll still see him in special plays, and unfortunately, injuries will happen, whether it's for a game, a whole season, or just a few plays. He'll be out there. And he still has another year under his belt, too, so he'll be out there again in 2026, too. Samuel Brown, this is his last year of eligibility. Antwan Raymond, though, as a sophomore, he's got potential to be Monangai-esque, not just this upcoming year, but for a Rutgers career.
Yeah, and, as far as when you mentioned Jashawn Benjamin, only 19 carries for 100 yards and a touchdown, but a 5.3 yards per carry average. And against Kansas State, 7 carries for 33 yards and a 4.7 yards per carry average with 1 touchdown and a long of 15. And against Minnesota, best game of the year, 11 carries, 66 yards for a 6 yards per carry average and a long of 20. So this guy's got talent. I think he could be impressive. Now, you've been high on C.J. Campbell, though, apparently.
Yes.
Now let's talk about this C.J. Campbell.
So there is one last thing I wanted to say about Mr. Raymond, and I think that you would appreciate this. His last quote that he said in this interview is, he has a lot of meat on that bone left, and you are a fan of more meat. So he has more meat potential. Pause. I don't know if that came out weird.
Yes, I don't go to White Castle. You want to know why I don't go to White Castle? There's not enough meat in those little burgers, all right? I go to McDonald's where they have the double quarter pounder. That's what we need at Rutgers. And if we have an elite offensive line with a running back who can get those tough yards, okay, on 3rd and 2, that's what we want. And if we have a trio of 3 or even 4 running backs that are going to come in, that's going to keep those running backs fresh. And that means they're going to be performing at a high level throughout the whole game, and especially in that all-important 4th quarter.
Yeah, so, he's 5'11", 205, so he does have meat on the bones. But if he's striving to be a power back, you can get your weight up a little bit, as long as it doesn't affect your 40, too much, which he's speedy for 205, so it shouldn't. But why do I like CJ Campbell Jr.? So he transferred from Florida Atlantic, Florida State the year before, which is historically a very solid football program. But last year with Atlantic, 165 yards, 165 carries rather, 844 yards, 5.1 per carry, 11 touchdowns, receiving 40 catches, 466 yards, 11.7 per carry, 3 touchdowns. But you know what stat impresses me the most, Adam? 0 fumbles. Guys, DT, right? We got DT. He had 0 fumbles. CJ Campbell, 0 fumbles. I don't know Raymond's stats off the top of my head, but, I'm hoping as a power back he didn't have too many fumbles last year, if any.
Well, that's incredibly impressive, I got to tell you.
Very.
CJ Campbell, like you said, some impressive stats last year. And if you look, at some of the games, Tulsa, 15 carries for 100 yards, 6.7 yards per carry average, and a long of 58 yards. Charlotte, 21 carries, 150 yards, 7.1 yards per carry average, 1 touchdown and a long of 58. Against USF South Florida, 12 carries, 90 yards, 7.5 average, and 2 touchdowns and a long of 30. So he's had some games where he's shown he's consistent, he has breakaway speed, and he doesn't turn the ball over. And you combine those 3, and you have another addition to that running back core that's getting me closer to saying that word, elite.
And you know what? 2 things. Number 1 is he's, I guess, starting because he's the hybrid back, and Raymond is situational, which Raymond was somewhat situational last year, but Monangai was also a power back at heart. So we didn't get to see him too much unless he was starting. But, with CJ as the hybrid back, we're going to see him 1st down, 2nd down, 3rd down, 4th and 3, 4th and 2, 3rd and 5. But, who knows?
Yeah, and when you got 4th and 2, 4th and 3, and you're going to run the ball, you need a running back who's fresh. Okay, and we're going to have that depth, and depth is a key at every position. We have it at running back. We have it at wide receiver. We have it on the offensive line. We don't have it at quarterback yet, but I don't see Ethan getting hurt this year. Well, let's hope he doesn't.
We don't really know if we have depth or not because we don't see those guys out there really.
Yeah, that's true, but I'm always wary of putting a backup quarterback into his first game ever in a competitive Big Ten. But generally, fair. The offense looks good, and the defense, which we're going to tackle in a future show, is showing a lot of promise. So, all right, CJ Campbell, Samuel Brown the 5th. Am I correct?
You are correct. And what's great about this running back core is you mentioned how promising it is, but it's not our identity like it was this past season. So they're just there to help us hopefully take some stress off of Ethan and the wide receiving core and Colin Weber. Yeah,
because last year was a really running back heavy with 1 running back. Now we've got a deeper receiving core, an experienced quarterback, a deep running back room, and an offensive line that is going to be elite. So it's going to be an exciting year to watch Rutgers offense.
Hopefully we're transitioning from Derrick Henry on the Titans to the Lions with that Sonic and Knuckles.
Absolutely. And unlike what Austin said, I do not believe Gabe is a secret Oregon fan, although time will certainly tell.
Hey, I don't mind Oregon. I got no vendetta against them.
Austin might be right.
you won't see me quacking anytime soon. So
excellent. Well, that wraps up our segment on the running backs.